Sometimes with copied products, they replicate styles that are simply not trendy anymore, which is what YongNuo have done with this, because they've replicated the Canon 35mm f2, which has been discontinued. Look, it looks just like the Canon 35mm f2. Kind of. Same switch. It looks more like a 50. But actually, when you look at it, and if you've handled the old 35 f2, it is a bit different because it had the focus ring here. And it had a little window for focusing scale. This looks a bit more like the 50mm f1.8. In fact, YongNuo probably used the same shell for the 50 1.8 and just put the 35mm f2 optics in here. And when you buy it, of course it comes with the protective plastic bit on the front and rear element, just in case you scratch it, just in case the lens caps fall off in the packaging and it gets scratched. You never know. The build quality is as expected in that it's incredibly cheap, but so is the Canon. So they've done a good job of copying it.
Yes, indeedy. Do you remember that Kinder Toy-like constructed Canon 35mm f2? This is an homage to that 7-element design. Same 25cm closest focusing distance too.
One thing that does suck back passages is that the focusing noise. I mean, that's unnecessary, isn't it? What does that sound like? It sounds like jumbo jet flaps coming down. Whenever your money gets rejected out of the machine, try and put a dollar bill inside the machine, spits it out. Robot orgasm, robot spastic colon. The interesting thing is that it's a copy of a Canon lens that doesn't exist anymore as a new product. Canon now has this 35 f2 IS USM, which is a different optical design, but it is more expensive.
The new Canon 35mm IS lens is excellent. Apart from having IS and more elements, it has an aspherical element. It is a top modern performer.
So this is not only a cheaper copy, it's a cheaper option as a whole. Because if you don't want to spend this much for a 35, then this is your only other option.
I have to say, at just a little bit over $100, this is incredibly fun to use. It focuses well, really well. The images look good too.
It may sound a bit robotic, but performance in terms of focus speed in good daylight, not bad. I think this is more enjoyable to use than the YongNuo 50mm. 50mm just seemed to be a bit hit and miss with the focus. Sometimes it'd focus, sometimes it wouldn't. This one seems to be pretty much on.
All of a sudden I'd learned to ignore the focusing noise because I was really having a blast with this lens. Or maybe it was just all the much louder noise on the street drowning out the noise of the focusing motor.
They can do alright on image quality when they kind of get the QC right. Will it back focus, will it front focus? But hey, some Canon lenses do the same. But let's find out how it performs wide open.
YongNuo's website says f2 large aperture, virtual background. Unfortunately, I didn't manage to turn my backgrounds into virtual reality. They were still real. The bokeh is like the old Canon 35s though. Mediocre to plain awful in parts.
But why would you spend much more on a 35 with the same maximum aperture? Alright, it's plastic as well, but it's better plastic. That's a pretty substantial lens. It's quiet and it's quick, and nothing moves in and out.
But what about overall image quality compared to the newer, more expensive Canon? At f2 there's a bit more vignetting with the Canon, but the Canon is sharper. Even when you stop it down to f2.8, things are improving, but the Canon is still much better. At f4, the Canon is super sharp in the centre. The YongNuo, better, but still not close. We're making some arty-farty visuals with some milk, oil and paint. You can see how the IS benefits the more expensive Canon lens. Shakier with the YongNuo, obviously, but these lenses are meant for different needs. They're not really meant to be compared. With this Canon clone, I can sort of understand why there might be a need for one. If you want an affordable 35mm f2 without the IS, there is currently no off-the-shelf option. So at least now you can get some very respectable image quality out of an affordable package again. Suppose you can't really complain for this price. Unless you're Canon, of course.